What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Dirty Mike, and today, my friends, I'm back into action. I got the 40 and 40, and when I tell you this video takes forever to put together, I know I stress it each week because I forget. And when I start going through the clips, the information I want to talk about, I'm thinking to myself, please let the people love it! Because going through 40 matches at FUT Champs and then reliving some of your losses where you made mistakes, you missed opportunities, you might not even see it in this video because I don't show you every chance that was created or when I hit the post. Oh, there's a couple that are so frustrating when you miss that key 1v1 or you outplay your opposition or you get to see your form start to fall and you don't make the correct moves from that point forward. But if you enjoy it, let's drop a thumbs up. On the last video, we're over 2,000 likes. If we can do that, happy days. I'm here. I'm working. And in the comments, I want to hear your feedback with FUT Champs. But I do need you guys to do me a solid. Do me a favor because I want to address this in a video. Who are your best players in FUT Champs? I'm not saying most expensive. I'm not saying cheap. Guys that stand out. For example, Martial has been stellar for me. Jamie Vardy. Oh, premium quality. You could use Fellaini. I know these are cheaper options. But the love that I got for Ronaldo, it's not going anywhere. And we're going to talk about the squad. That's what you see on screen. It's going to be into that 4-1-2-1-2. And I've made an entire video dedicated to the team. So I'll leave those links if you want to check out the squad video and a little more with instructions and tactics. But we are going to discuss. I'm leaving that where you've got all the scoop. But without further ado, let's get it started. We got things to talk about. Woo! Match numero uno. And before you get in the comments, yes, I changed clothes. Another shirt is starting to make me itch. It's not that cold in my room, but I knew it was a sure thing if I put on the hoodie. I've wore this enough this year where it could not be the problem. I must have messed up with the detergent. I don't know if I purchased something new. The washer and dryer, we're not getting along. I'm not sure, but that's what happened. And my first opposition kind of brings me into my first point. And I want to talk about squad building challenges because he had the SBC Diego Costa, and that card looks woo, fire! But you have to give up a lot. It's not going to be cheap. Not today, not yesterday, not when it first dropped. It's almost been out a month now at this point, I believe. And EA is so clever with how they implemented squad building challenges because it allows them to control the market. It's brilliant because we, as consumers, as fans of FIFA, how much we play the title, the involvement we have with different squads, FUT champions, you name it. You can go on a big list. I don't want to say we get baited, but when EA drops a new card, we get excited and they say, hey, you got 24 hours, what they're doing with FUTMIS. Oh, hey, you got 1 week. Hey, you got 1 month. And after that point, and the card looks cool, after that point, you're never going to be able to get this card again. It will not be accessible. I'm sorry if you wanted it. Hey, you can't do anything about it. And they put us in a position where you got to make a decision, especially with the quick turnaround players, like we're seeing with FUTMIS, because you're not going to be able to get a review from a reputable source, from a credible place, about how good this player is or how he doesn't live up to anything. So you're going to have to take that gamble. Maybe put in that 25K for one of the cheaper ones, if you have a couple untradables, or put in that 100K. Or put in that 250K or that 500K and so forth and so on. And if you guys are brand new to 40 and 40, what you're seeing in the backdrop, yeah, those are all my matches from this weekend. I'm not going to spoil the result if you haven't seen it, but if you're following me on Twitter, if you're following me on Facebook, on Instagram, something, then you kind of know how I do, when it happens, how it unfolds. FUT champions. And I'm looking forward to all the comments, by the way, about, I'm going to call it king status. Just players that are magnificent. The guys that kill it for you. They're kings on the squad. You put them in a starting 11 and they're always going to show out. You guys get the idea. But let's discuss the squad. I think it's a good starting point. Anytime I put together a video talking about what I liked, what I didn't like, what worked, what didn't work, and so forth and so on. And I start on the 4-3-3 and then I do a pro swap. And that's where you pause the game, you change your formation, and anytime you change formation, you also have to adjust your instructions. They don't carry over. And custom tactics, though, do carry over. You don't have to re-up your custom tactics unless you're making another change. But anytime you change a formation, please adjust your instructions if they're important to you. And I believe that instructions are very important this year. Make those adjustments. So what you're really looking at is going to be a 4-1-2-1-2, the second variation where you have my man, Cristiano Ronaldo, who put up incredible numbers. And we're going to talk about that. You guys if you've been on the channel, I'm a stat room machine. I like to keep track of everything so you know who really is shining, what players you truly remember, who might have put up numbers that you don't recall. Sometimes people score a lot of goals, or they get big goals and you just don't notice them because they're not the long shot. They're not loud goals. That's a saying we have in the U.S. It more so pertains to basketball, where they have those guys that pick up a lot of the trash points. They get the rebound, they box somebody out, they lay it up, right? 2 points is 2 points. $20 is $20. And in football, the same thing can happen. You score a rebound goal. That guy might not get credit, but his attacking positioning could have been relevant. His physicality could have been relevant. His consistency to show up, oh, it's relevant. He's a marquee player. And that's why I like to keep stats. The same goes with assists. You easily can lose track of guys that are actually creating. Last week, Conte, for example, had 18 assists in 40 games. Did you hear that? 18 as a center mid. And then I've actually used, I started off using Bale as my left striker. And halfway through, so after 20 games, I switched to Bale with Griezmann. Griezmann was my cam. So Griezmann ended up playing striker, which I like better. Bale was the cam. And then we had Renato Sanchez on one side, Paul Pogba on the other side, and our new signing Vieira as the CDM. And I'm going to get this out there. I'm going to say it right now. If you're saving up for Vieira, if you don't already have just a killer squad, I don't think he's necessarily worth 1.8 million coins. Talking about your value purchase, talking about just your coins for where it's going to get you in life. Now, if you have an unlimited bankroll, pockets are fat, money is good, you've already got other million coin players, I just don't want you to make Vieira your first million coin plus player. It should not be that guy. Is he great? Yeah, he's the real deal. But is he going to change your game to the point where he's worth 1.8 million coins? And no, he's just not. He feels actually as if he's 6'3", same height as Paul Pogba, but he doesn't have that thickness to him, something. He doesn't seem as wide. We always talk about Renato Sanchez being very wide and physical and bulky, and Vieira doesn't quite have that. So he loses a little bit of presence, but he is amazing in the game. I just don't think that you should put 1.8 million into a CDM unless you already have a lot of other places of your squad. Like, the team needs to be developed. If you haven't put together premium strikers or premium wingers or your center attacking mids, the guys that are going to score goals, if you haven't done that yet, if you don't have players that you're more than happy with, I'm talking way above satisfied here. You don't want people that are adequate. I can't talk. You don't want guys that just get the job done. You want the premiums because you're about to pay the Louis Vuitton and the Gucci price to buy Vieira and to put him into your squad. But let's talk about the team. Defensively, it's almost always the same. I'm very comfortable with Kyle Walker. I'm very comfortable with Smalling, Boateng, Alaba. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to put a legend into my defense. It's one of those... When I'm looking at your investment, it's one of those investment strategies. And when I'm looking at defenders, there's so many good defenders this year that I don't think you should put your money into a defender right off the jump. Even though defense wins championships, I'm talking about legend defenders here, okay? Let me clarify. Because the big-time attackers, you notice them, at least in my opinion. I notice the guys that are supposed to be the premium attackers, and if they don't show up, they go. We resell them. We get rid of them. They're not going to stay in the squad very long. But defenders, how many defenders are better than Boateng? Legends included. I'll wait. You guys can let me know in the comments. How many defenders do you put above Boateng? And I know a few people will probably put Blanc, but outside of that, how many? I mean, he's a 90 overall. He's a normal player, but he's got legend status. Smalling is also premium, just top of the line. Same with Kyle Walker. I packed Zanetti, which I'm very happy about. Thank you, EA. I appreciate that. It helped me build out another squad that you guys are going to see for this weekend. But when I was doing a compare and contrast to Kyle Walker and Zanetti, I was kind of like just sitting back, reflecting, and I couldn't justify Zanetti's price tag. I wasn't even sure Zanetti was better than Kyle Walker, and we're talking 500,000 coins versus 20,000 coins. Don't even include the price. I'm just saying overall, if you cut that out, you had no idea what the price tag was. I wasn't even sure that Zanetti was just better. Not even better as for a price. Not a better value purchase in terms of maybe getting Kyle Walker instead of Zanetti. I'm just saying, was he better? And I'm not sure. I can say comfortably that someone like Brema, that's a special left back. You're going to like him. He's worth the coins if you got a big bankroll. I'm just throwing it out there. But I couldn't comfortably say that about Zanetti. And I liked him in real life. Always been a fan. But he doesn't have something. I don't know if it's the physicality or his lack of being able to really attack with the best of the fullbacks. He defends good, but does he defend where he's so noticeable on the pitch that he has that presence? I didn't feel that way. And this is something else I want to discuss. And I think EA should have guidelines, rules, restrictions, and treat FUT Champions like a competitive game mode. And we're going to talk about this stadium. I hate this Stoke Stadium. I think it should be eliminated. I'm not sure if my eyes are just getting to me. If I'm aging. It's a problem. It's a problem. I got a headache after playing at this stadium every time. I got to go downstairs. I got to get a Tylenol, an ibuprofen, something to make this work. My grind is just beginning with FUT Champs. And this stadium, you are bad news right here. I'm pointing at you. But we're going to talk about that in a bit. Let me finish out the squad. Paul Pogba is so damn certified. He is someone that you should have in every single squad builder if you can include him. And because he's got the French nationality, you should be able to include him. You should be able to slide him into some teams. As I stated with Vieira, is he amazing? Is he great? Is he stellar? Is he any superlative you want to use? For the most part, yes. He's just so expensive. It's just so expensive for the position that he plays on the pitch. Renato Sanchez, most overpowered player in the game. Boom. I could always trust him. He never lets me down, whether it's him breaking up plays, running all game, being efficient, being able to score long shots, even his passing. I feel like it's getting better. I don't know. And then my front three is where I had some debates. And that's why I told you guys I did a change. I made a switch where I had Gareth Bale up top and I dropped him into the Cam's position. And it was more so because of Griezmann, not because of Gareth Bale. So Griezmann, who I was using as a Cam, I realized you need someone who can bump a little bit better, especially in FUT Champs where connection is not always perfect. In fact, most of the time it's not perfect. There is delay, there is lag, and slow servers. You need someone a little more physical. Griezmann just felt like he was missing something in terms of his physicality. Maybe even a little bit with the passing. He wasn't slotting some of the passes the same way I wanted him to. I've used him a lot this year, so I have a certain expectation for how he should perform. And I'm not going to say that he went missing. I just didn't feel like I was getting the best Griezmann that I could get. That's how I felt. Then you guys are going to see a rough patch from me here very shortly. It's too bad. I started so well with a 10-0 beginning on Friday. And then on Saturday, I just couldn't get in the flow. And there's going to be a few games where you're going to notice, even if I win, my flow just wasn't right. My offense, something's not clicking. And the reason I say you're going to notice is because the score lines or the lack thereof. There's going to be some defensive games where you're looking at my team like, how does this happen? Was the other guy just playing that defensive? And in this case, I think the answer is no. He wasn't. I just wasn't finishing. Or I wasn't creating. Or I wasn't in a good flow. My pressure wasn't right for defensive counters. Because how you defend sets up your attack often. And when I'm playing defense, the way that I'm trying to trap my opposition and to make sure that he can't go forward easily, it allows me to start my instant counter. Or to start off with good field position. Good pitch position. I should make that into some sort of hashtag. But Ronaldo, incredible. And then Griezmann, as a striker, I like him, man. You get him on that left side. He's got that left peg. It's special. And I still highly recommend anytime that it's possible, right-footed player, your best right-footed player if you have two righties. If you're playing two strikers, your best right-footed player on the right side. And then if you have a left-footed player, obviously left side. Because it's all going across the body. EA dropped a patch that we're going to discuss a little bit more about the patch coming very soon. But they tried to, I think, more so strengthen the near post versus necessarily taking away from across the body. And that's why I say you just got to have that right-footed guy and that left-footed guy. It just makes everything easier. Even if you're in the midfield, it's great if you have a left-footed player on the left-hand side of the pitch. Because you automatically open up for those across-the-body shots. And it's crucial, as you see, I got a disconnect. Now that's a problem. Wow, dedicated servers. Dedicated servers! I'm not done when we're looking at dedicated servers. Because when EA says dedicated, what they mean, Mike, you're not going to get DDoSed. But that does not mean you won't get disconnects, because disconnects, we can't control those. And my thing with EA, I understand disconnects happen. Maybe your internet drops, y'all lose connection, whatever's going down. Now the issue for me, if the game is 0-0, I shouldn't lose that game. If I'm winning that match and it disconnects, I shouldn't lose that game. Doesn't mean that I need to get a win or a result from the match. Just let me replay it. And I don't understand if this is difficult to do. Is it difficult to put this in the algorithm or to throw it into the game? Does anybody know that's watching this video? I've always wondered, because it's been the same way since 2005. I've been playing FIFA online. 2005 is when I started. Well, 2004 was my first FIFA that I really played. 2005 online, and I started kind of developing, learning about the competitive scene, all of the above. But I can still remember and recall in those times, if I got disconnected and I was winning, 0-3 loss, 0-3 loss, 0-3 loss. And it just doesn't connect. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. And I've always wondered, is it that hard for EA to put in some sort of technology at this point, 2016, probably in 2017, where the AI or the system that you have in play can recognize, hey, that guy wasn't losing the game. We shouldn't give him a loss. And I'm sure many of you guys can relate. In fact, let me ask you this. If you've had disconnects over the weekend league, and I'm sure many of you have, how many disconnects would you say you average? So let's say this month we're going into the 4th weekend. How many disconnects have you had at this point? Before this 4th weekend, how many disconnects? So 3 weekends, how many have you had? I think that I have had 1, which is good. That just happened this past week. But if we would have went the month prior, I know I had much more than 1. So I just want you guys to kind of get your word out there a little bit. Talk to me. We're kind of taking a poll in this YouTube video. CC Griezmann, left peg, right place, right time. So we talked about the squad. I don't think there's that many surprises. Once you get the Paul Pogbas and the Ronaldos into your team, they're probably not going to go anywhere unless you have to change them. So my next point that I want to talk about a little bit before we discuss the patch is making this a competitive game mode, making FUT Champs truly competitive. And I say that because EA needs to treat this like a competitive game mode. If I go to a tournament and EA's giving it the okay, of course, they're supporting this tournament. There's a lot of rules, a lot of restrictions. And let me give you some examples. You can only play at this park or this park. You can only have these certain passing numbers. Like I know at tournaments, some of them wouldn't allow the defending. What's the 2 defending styles, like tactical and legacy? You couldn't use any of that. You'd have to have some things unassisted. You wouldn't be able to use custom formations. You wouldn't be able to activate custom tactics actually at many events. I mean, now I think it's almost a standard custom tactics are going to be allowed. But if you go back 2 years, I can remember many events and then further back where custom tactics, not a good look. People voted against it. It wasn't going to be included in tournaments. But I want EA to treat this like a competitive game mode. Also, and this kind of goes with stadiums, but you'd always play daytime. Only daytime matches if you were in a pro event. They're not going to make you deal with rain, snow, fog. Do you remember when they added fog? Hold on, we got to get a break to that. Cheers. God. Wow. Fog was the worst. I remember they eliminated rain and they added fog. That guy should have been fired at EA. I made a whole video dedicated to the fog, man. Because sometimes EA just makes me think, like, who's in these meetings? How corporate do you guys have to be? Because anyone who plays the game is not going to co-sign fog. All right, so what do you want to do? Just picture this. So what do you want to do? What are you proposing? Well, I want to make it very hard for everyone to see. Really? You think that's a good look? Yeah, we want to mimic fog. Because in real life, everybody loves fog. Nobody complains that they can't see. That's going to be a good addition to the game. People are going to appreciate that in a gaming title. That they have trouble seeing the screen. Oh yeah, we're adding a new weather condition. It just doesn't make any sense. When you're thinking logically, it doesn't make any sense. And I did rack in a lot of goals in some of these matches. I don't know if we've seen one yet, but I had a couple guys that were jerks in a way where they put down the controller for a half and they just burned my time. It was on a Sunday too, which was kind of Not a biggest fan. Because I'm not even sure when you're looking at goals for if that matters that much for skill rating. I've been trying to figure out the skill rating system for a long time. And we can talk about theories. I can present different numbers. But I don't buy it. I don't know if there's really that much detail into it. Score as many goals as you can. As we're going into another match, a bunch of attribute cards. I don't like those. Those are also banned in tournaments. Remember when I was talking about things that have to go? Attribute cards gotta go. Custom formations have to go. Okay? And this is not me complaining like, oh, park the bus. No. It just doesn't make sense. If it's a competitive game mode, why would you have features or add-ons that are not allowed? You know when they get to the event, not cool, not going to be able to use this stadium. So Stoke gotta go. Use FIFA Interactive World Cup Stadium. We all got that one for free. I thought that was gonna be a default. That makes sense to me. Everyone should have to play by the same rules if it's a competitive game mode. That's why FIFA Interactive World Cups made all the players same stats, if you guys have been playing that. I am happy that we have dedicated servers in terms of the DDoS, because that was ruined, absolutely ruined FIFA Interactive World Cup. The online portion of that game mode, I could never play it, because people were just knocking each other off. It was the battle of the DDoSers, not the battle of who's the best player, not who could put up the best numbers, not who could go undefeated or who was better under pressure, just who was the best at disconnecting. And that is a very poor premise. I also want to discuss one more thing before we get into these patch notes, the Dirty Mike patch notes. I should have dedicated a video to this, but it's kind of late now. I feel as if when a new patch drops, you got to do that review right then, right there. I'm talking next day, 2 days at the most. So we're at least a week late now. I think we're a little too late to dedicate a video, but I know you guys are curious because you're into FIFA. If you're watching this video, you've gotten this far, you definitely want to know more about gameplay. But I want to discuss Messi versus Ronaldo in FIFA because that's a heavy debate. And we were talking about it in my Discord chat with a bunch of the Twitch TV subscribers, YouTube subs, where we were talking about, well, what about Messi versus Ronaldo? I think most people will co-sign that Ronaldo's better. But more importantly, what type of game do you need for Messi to be successful? Because it's really like that. Messi's talented, man. He's got a lot to offer. But if you're playing a diamond, Messi would be your cam. You swap into the pro swap action. Messi should be your cam there. But if you're doing the Messi center attacking mid sitch, you need to have two strikers that got some size. Because I realized in this team, for example, I've experimented a little bit. I would have Griezmann, Messi, and Ronaldo. Griezmann and Messi got two non-physical guys, not that big. And there's problems in paradise, and they're both left-footed. And something about having two lefties in your attack. I'm not sure if it's just left-footed players feel so left-footed or what it really is, but it does not work for me. I don't like it. It just seems to be something you struggle with a little bit as we have this lovely stadium on screen again, the one that I really truly appreciate. But when we're looking at Messi, Messi needs good gameplay. And when I say good gameplay, I'm talking premium connection. Everything has to be smooth. It's got to be crisp. Because when you add delay, when you add lag, Messi's quick movements and his little intricacies and how he turns, boy, it's not good. He doesn't bump well. He's not a physical specimen. That's not what he's in the team to do. So you need the game to be quick, fast-paced. So you can do your little cut to the left, cut to the right, open up your body, finesse shot. You have to have all these very small, they're minute details that Messi supersedes and he excels. And you see his true potential in FIFA when he's wiggling and working in the midfield, when he's creating, when he's turning, stop and go, and then being able to provide, being able to finish. But when a game gets to having like some suspect connection, oh, you got no choice. It's always going to be Ronaldo or anybody that's big and physical. Because you end up having a lot of these circumstances. You bump into him. You bump into him. Elbows out. No dance moves intended. And that's where you see the love for the Gareth Bales, the Ronaldo. Even Suarez seems to be decent for me physical-wise. The Kluiverts of the world. The Fellaini's. These guys come out of the woodwork. The Vieira. A lot of center mids and CDMs actually run naturally physical, but your strikers or your attackers, your wingers, they don't. And I've wondered this about Georgie Best a lot as well. He's going to give you a Messi-esque feel, and are you going to run into the same issues if the game doesn't have that clean connect where you have a player who has every skill. He can shoot, he can run, he can facilitate. I mean, he's one of the best at everything. You can go across his stats. We can pull him up side by side. But at the end of the day, he's still 5'8". And that's not going to change today, tomorrow, next week. It doesn't matter. So it's all about getting the correct balance on your squad. I've talked about this a lot too. You need to have your bruisers and then your skillful number 10s. The guys that can really put together something beautiful. The Ronaldinhos of the world. Some guys that break up the play, and then others that are going to allow you to be the most creative you, the best you. That pass that you just see. I mean, how do I get it there? I need to be able to provide. The dudes that can make that happen. Iniesta, for example, or Pirlo or something, they have that dime dropping capability. I'm not saying either of them you want to really have in your squad for FUT champs, and the reason you don't see them just because undersized and Pirlo is walking speed at this point. But there's other guys that don't have those types of issues, but you want to have midfielders that can provide. That's the point I was making. Even strikers, a bonus if they can make the long passes or those threaded through balls. If you're brilliant when it comes to threaded through balls, there's a lot of value. Because you could catch somebody slipping and really, truly drop it off. And in FUT champs, we all know, you don't necessarily need more than 1 to 2 goals. Life could be good for you at that point. You're not limited, or you're not, I shouldn't say limited, you're not at a position where you have to keep scoring. Because the servers are often slow. A little bit of that good old delay. Or that lag just changes a match so much, and people swap formations. And I do want to talk about swapping formations after you have a lead. I've discussed it before, but I want to talk about it a little bit more. If you have a 2-goal lead, I think it's in your best interest to change formations. And I say 2 goals because at that point, okay, you got what you need. Don't set up shop, but you want to maybe trade a striker for a center mid or a striker for a CDM. Not a striker for a defender. I think going from 4 defenders to 5, that's not going to be in your best interest. You're going to take on a lot of pressure doing that. I never recommend 5 at the back. I think it's a waste. But if you could add another guy in the midfield, that's helpful. And your opponent will notice that you've made changes, and that frustrates them. I can think of matches I've had over the past month and a half, where people actually left the game not because I scored another goal, but because I switched into a 4-2-3-1. That's the only formation I really use if I'm switching for a defensive or more of just a controlled feel to the game. I want to be able to move at my pace because I'm already ahead, and I'd love to add more goals to it, but I do not want to be in a back and forth, really quick moving in the midfield game and potentially, not for sure, but potentially blow a game or allow you to get back into a match because it's so much back and forth in that midfield. Where if I can spread it out wide a little bit, I can have a little additional value in my gameplay and how I'm building up and how I'm defending and the traps that I'm putting together in this all-inclusive package. Nah, I want to have that. That balance makes it harder for everyone. And you want to make sure you don't give your opponents gifts. People talk to me all the time like, Mike, I'm losing this or I'm losing that, or we'll sit down and do a lesson, or we'll talk about something, or people ask for advice. And one of the big flaws that people make that are losing games repeatedly in the 90th minute or just can't close out is that you give gifts. You are Santa to the FIFA community. And let me go into more detail. You win the ball. You're on the 6-yard box of your own box, okay? So you're pretty pushed back, and you do a random A pass, a random clearance right down the middle. And then, of course, your opponent picks it off, and now he has a very easy opportunity. He can pick up the next pass. He's got a long shot. Everything's in the right place. It's not a problem. It's not an issue. You asked him, please score. It's kind of like when you have a goal kick, and you pass it short from a goal kick, and your opponent reads where you're going to pass it short. So technically, all he's got to do is tap it in. The goalkeeper's out of position. You didn't cover it. You weren't thinking. You rushed something, and here it is. It's a gift. Once again, the FIFA Santa comparison, you can throw that in there. Last but not least, well, it could be least, we're going to talk about the new patch because I've got to discuss it. We've got, as you see on screen, some Elgato footage corruption. It's too bad, too. I had back-to-back very good offensive matches. 6-2, 3-0. At least we got the wins. but Elgato seems to do this from time to time. If you've watched a lot of content creators, if you have an Elgato, it's with their software. It's not the product, it's the damn software, where after it's recorded, it renders, and I think in that rendering process, it's very easy for corruption to occur. And that's too bad, but at this point, they should really fix it. Elgato, if you're watching, if you heard that you're being mentioned in this video, what's up, man? Why haven't we fixed this issue? Because I can remember Elgato problems now for 3 years, since I started YouTube. And as the top producer in terms of game capture products, I don't think there's anyone bigger than Elgato. I think it's by a landslide as well. You've got to fix this. This is one of the few problems you have. One of the very few. We as consumers want to use a product that's flawless, not something that gives me a 1% problem. It's something small. It might be 1 out of 100 recordings, but it always happens at the worst time. At least for me. It'll happen in a Road to Glory. Maybe it'll happen in a 40 and 40 where you guys miss out on 2 matches that I wanted to showcase. I wanted to bring attention. I wanted to put that on display. But back to the patch. Offensively, let's talk about finishing. The across the body is not as dominant, or maybe the goalkeepers are a little bit better. You can take it for either or. I think the near post, they were trying to even it up. They're trying to even the score. They're trying to make it a little stronger. I've seen more tap homes, more near post shots going in. Does that mean the near post is back as it was last? No, it's not. No. Still, when in doubt, I just dropped a finishing tutorial. Across the body, all day, every day. That's what you want to do. But the near post is a little more feasible. There are parts, or there are positions where I think the near post is a good choice. There are moments. I said parts. There are parts of this game where you need to hit that near post. No, don't worry about that word association. But there's value still on the near post now, or it's better value than where it was at. And in the midfield, the passing shifted a little bit, and your offensive awareness. This I don't like. I really wish EA did a better job. I'm not sure why they changed offensive player awareness. But if you haven't noticed, maybe me talking about it will put it on display for you. But your attackers will start to make a run for a through ball, and they stop. They check back, and it's kind of awkward. Or they're not in the right place. You almost have to tell them, like, bro, last week you understood that we're looking for triangles. What's going on right now, homie? This is Coach Dirty Mike, Manager Mike. We got to be on the same page. And they're just not smart about it in terms of how they should be positioned, where they should be standing. Just not smart. Defensively, I think some of the positioning also shifted in terms of defensive awareness. And I'm talking about center backs getting split. I've noticed more center backs being split at this point. That's not necessarily a bad situation, not a problem. I think defending this year is too easy. I think the AI is still way too strong. And they automatically will slide for you. They block shots without you doing anything. If I had a patch, that would be one of the notes that I'd like to see an update. Come on, EA, patch notes. Let's change the AI. I don't think we're going to see that. People always complain about the defense. And this patch that came out, EA didn't have any patch notes. So you kind of get what you get. We didn't really know what to expect. I actually have some more notes. Hold on just a second. I don't want to miss anything about these patch notes that I took. Just a second, because I was really writing down when I was playing FUT Champions. So defensive tackles got a little bit easier. I also put that, which that's true. Good job, Mike. But the splitting of the defense is also easier. So maybe it's a give or take. I don't think the defense changed dramatically. Passing seems to have lost a bit of accuracy. I'm looking at my notes here. That's true. Some of your tiki-taka is not as clean. And you know what I noticed is that defensive tackles or on interceptions, they seem to get a foot on things just a little too easy. Like they get that foot in the lane. I don't like it. I already talked about offensive AI positioning. Goalkeepers improved, cover more across the body, or you could say across the body got worse. It's tomato. The glass is half empty or it's half full. You make a decision. Oh, a big one. Fatigue. I'm glad I looked at this. Fatigue is now a big issue. Well, maybe not an issue, but it matters more than it ever has. You cannot play people for the full game. You need to use those subs. And if you go to extra time, you don't use subs, you're asking for a death wish. All right. Speaking of the goalkeepers, I have noticed more AIDS goals. You might see some of them in these examples, but a lot of rebounds, a lot of bounce backs. And I think that's due to the new patch. It hasn't been a major patch, but it does change the way the gameplay feels. Remember, if you enjoyed the content, to drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you're brand new. I went 35 out of 40. Last week 36. The week before that 36. So we're trying to build this consistency. Hopefully we can have an amazing weekend. I'm trying to prepare myself best for January. I know it's a qualifying month. I really didn't try to qualify in November. And I kind of feel like I let you guys down a little bit. So I'm going to do my best. We'll see how games play out. You saw there's plenty of close matches. So things can easily not go well for you in FU Champs. But until next time, peace.